that? What the fuck was that? Oh boy. I can't even start a video without the demons coming to get me. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another little ranking video, and today we're going to be doing, you guessed it, obviously from the title, horror movie remakes. There are, let me tell you, tons of horror movie remakes. It spans way too much, and a lot of them are not good. Like, objectively just not good. And some of them are actually pretty good. And we are going to be going through my favorite, the top 10 horror remakes, in my opinion. Horror remakes for me it's a hit and miss. I mean, I think it goes for everyone. If you either love a horror remake or you hate it and you don't think it's better than the original. And there have been a lot of horror remakes that are better than the original, and then some, like I said on this list, just aren't as good as the original. But I believe in my heart that they're the better horror remakes, because they've come out with a bunch of horror remakes. I haven't seen all the horror remakes, but the ones that I've seen, there are a lot of bad ones, but then there are a lot of good ones. I'm not saying that they are, like I said, better than the original, because the first one on this list, I just need to preference that. Some horror movie remakes are not better than the original, but they are a good horror remake, if that makes sense. So I just need to preference that, because the first one on this list is going to let's just get into this. At number 10, we have Halloween 2007 by Rob Zombie. So we're straight off the bat, not better than the original at all, but it is. I've rewatched it a couple of times. It is a good horror remake in a sense, and in a sense that I mean, I think the Michael Myers in this one, because Rob Zombie, if you don't know who Rob Zombie is, he makes more like grittier horror, if that makes sense. Maybe that not the right word, but somewhere around that area where it's more visceral. And the Michael Myers in this, he's fucking, I think he's 6 something. He's 6 foot, he's tall, and he is monstrous, and he's scary. And I think I like that in this Halloween movie. Halloween 2, the sequel to this one, the Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, I might have to rewatch that again, but that was fucking horrible. And that one I don't even recognize, but this one I do appreciate what they tried to do. Now, a lot of it is very shot for shot. It's not very shot for shot, but it's very much scene for scene, I should say, for the original. There are basically the exact same things that happen in the original that happen in this movie. The original obviously takes the cake on those scenes, while the remake definitely doesn't. But I do think for a horror remake, I do think that the Halloween 2007 is a pretty good one. It's definitely not, like my favorite Halloween movie of all time. It's definitely not up there. If we're doing all the Halloween movies, maybe not my top 5, maybe top 10, but it definitely isn't as good as the original, but it is very good. So, Halloween remake number 10. At number 9, we are going to have The Hills Have Eyes. I've only watched the original Hills Have Eyes years ago, and I recently watched the remake actually like a couple of weeks ago, and I didn't mind it. I thought it was good. I thought it was actually not a little bit better, but it's a modern day version. And usually a lot of the times for me, modern day versions, I guess I'm more prone to liking modern day movies. And so I gravitated towards this one a little bit more than the original, than Wes Craven's original. But I mean, it's the same, same thing. I mean, that happens in the original, the cannibals. I did like it a little bit better than Wes Craven's, and that's just me. So I'm just going to put The Hills Have Eyes at number 9. I mean, not a big fan of them, but for a horror remake, it for me, it's good. So, Hills Have Eyes, number 9. All right, number 8. Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead. Yeah. Listen, like you, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of Zack Snyder. I mean, I like a couple of his movies. I do I do like Man of Steel, not as much as the new Superman. I do like 300. And I did really like Dawn of the Dead. I think probably Dawn of the Dead is probably his best movie. I do agree with that, actually, yes. Dawn of the Dead, I think, is definitely not a better remake than the original, because the original Dawn of the Dead is an all-time zombies classic. But I think Dawn of the Dead, like I said with Hills Have Eyes, it gave a more modern take, or like a modern-day remake. Dawn of the Dead, definitely a better modernized version of the original. Dawn of the Dead will be number 8. Number 7. I did have to Google this a bunch of times because I knew in my head, I was like, this is a remake? And I'm like, it is a remake technically. The Thing 1982, not The Thing 2011. I actually didn't like... I liked The Thing remake of 2011, but I don't think it was necessarily my favorite remake. And I definitely don't think that it'll be on this list. But The Thing 1982 is a remake of the 1951 film The Thing from Another World. Both movies are based off of the novel Who Goes There by John W. Campbell. And actually, I found this out, the 1951 version is actually vastly different from the book, and The Thing is more intertwined or more connected like the book. The Thing, I mean, in my last review you saw was one of my top 10 horror films. The Thing, I don't think I need to speak anymore on this film. The Thing is just great. And I'm not going to talk about The Thing because I already talked about it in my last review, but great horror movie. So, number 7 is The Thing. Alrighty, number 6, Friday the 13th. I have talked about this. The Friday the 13th, 2009, sorry. I think the Friday the 13th remake is better than the first Friday the 13th. And you can argue with me all day you want. The original never even had Jason Voorhees. Not saying that made the movie dog shit, because I liked the original, but I think the remake of Friday the 13th is a better Friday the 13th movie than most of well, maybe not most of the Friday the 13th movies, but I would say definitely a good handful of them. It's outrageous at some times, and I watched the director's cut, which the director's cut adds a whole 10 minutes. Now, you're just probably thinking to yourself, 10 minutes? That's not a lot of time. The Lord of the Rings extended editions put in an hour. Yeah. But for a horror movie, 10 extra minutes? What are you fucking putting in there? Like what? Like, usually, if you start to, especially in a horror movie like Friday the 13th, I should preference, if you're putting in 10 more minutes, what the fuck were you hiding in the first place? And not to say that, that's too much or that's not enough, because Midsommar has a director's cut, and I believe that's like 20 minutes longer, I forget. But it's definitely longer than 10 minutes, I think. But for a Friday the 13th remake, I didn't know why they had 10 minutes just sitting away. And the scenes of the uncut that they added in are really ridiculous. It's just more, well, not all of them, because some of the grotesque, the killing scenes were pretty cool. They just added way too, they added more sex into the movie, and I was rewatching it, and I'm like, I feel like there's more sex in this than when I originally saw it. And there is, for no reason. Anyways, Friday the 13th, the remake, it goes, in my opinion, I think I knew what they were doing when they were remaking this. They knew it was Friday the 13th. They knew that we had to be a little bit outrageous with the sex and the counselors or the people going to the camp being ridiculous, being, I don't want to say stupid, but not thinking straight. And I think they really pulled it off. I actually do like the kills in this movie. I thought the kills were a little like, oh, wow, 2009? Pretty good. So I definitely like this remake. I definitely think it's better than the original, and you can fight me on that. But, yeah, Friday the 13th, 2009. There you go, number 6. Number 5, we're in the top 5 of the horror remakes. Suspiria. I actually just watched Suspiria for the first time, the original, about a week or two ago, and then I really liked it. I liked it, and I knew it was going for. I love the color of the original. I love the shots, the style, and I actually found out when I was looking up, because I was really confused, because I knew it was like a foreign-made film, but there was English in it, and I was so confused. And I actually found out that they filmed the movie quiet. They didn't film any on-stage audio. They had the actors dub the languages. Most of the actors, I believe, dubbed different languages. They made it purposefully with no sound, I think, in most scenes, and then they just dubbed it for the respective languages, which I thought was interesting. So I watched the original, and then about a couple days later, I never fully finished Suspiria when it first came out, like a few years ago. But I finally rewatched it fully because it's 2 hours and 40 minutes. And I liked it a lot. I definitely think for me, it's my kind of psychological horror, whereas the original was beautifully shot, beautifully lit, and I loved just what it was doing. But I think Suspiria, for like horror aspects, definitely takes the top cake than the original Suspiria. Definitely another fucked up movie. I wasn't expecting it to be that fucked up. I actually thought it was going to go further at one point, and then it just kind of did at the end. I don't want to spoil it, but there was just one part, and I'm like, why are they it was chaos. But unfortunately, when that bloody scene happened, the movie was still going, and I'm like, oh Jesus. But I kind of felt like the movie had already ended, and like it could have been perfect. They could have added maybe like another scene just to end it, but they added more scenes, and I was kind of a little, not annoyed, but I was like, all right, I get it. Definitely a surprise movie. I would definitely check it out. If you don't like really psychological, deep, meaningful, metaphorical movies, probably not the movie for you. But I do like the remake a lot. So everyone's great in it, and Suspiria. Excuse me. Number 4 is going to be Let Me In. Let Me In is the remake of the Let the Right One In, 2008. It's a Swedish film, and it was only made a couple of years later, so go figure. But I really liked Let Me In, the remake. Unfortunately have only seen about half of the original Let the Right One In. I think I watched it a while ago, but I didn't have a chance to rewatch it. But I loved the Let Me In remake. I really thought it was really good. And another one of those movies where I would watch it on my laptop, and it was honestly, it was a very good movie. Matt Reeves directed it, and honestly, I would definitely check both of them out, because the parts that I watched of the original are the original, were definitely really, really good. But I would definitely check out the remake because I really, really liked it. It takes a vampire story and just makes it something really cool. So, definitely go check out those movies. So number 4 is going to be Let Me In. All right, top three. Number 3 is going to be The Ring. I've talked about The Ring before in a couple of other videos. I love the original Ring, Ringu, from I believe it's 1998. Yes, it's from 1998. And I love both movies. I think I like both of them equally for different reasons. But I do really like just what they did with The Ring, and I will always visit The Ring. I thought, for a while, I actually really thought of putting it on my top 10 horror movies, but I think the other movies on the list take the cake just a little bit from The Ring. But The Ring remake is really good. Can't go anything wrong with a little girl coming out of a TV calling you to tell you you have 7 days left to live. So, go figure. The Ring, number 3. I've talked about this movie a lot. Really, really good. So, The Ring, number 3. Number 2, It. It is It. Number 2 is It. I loved It. I saw it in theaters. It was probably one of the bigger horror movies that I've ever seen in theaters because it came out in 2017, so I turned 17 around that time, so I was able to legally go in and watch a rated R movie. The first horror movies to be released in theaters that was rated R that I didn't go see with my parents I saw it with friends, and it was a great movie, and I love rewatching it. I think it's really good. A lot of people praise the 1990 TV series or limited series, It. I mean, Tim Curry is really good as Pennywise, and it's just kind of the same thing with most like horror remakes. or any remake in general where somebody plays an iconic character. But I do, Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise is so fucking good. It's just really good. Now, Chapter 2 was more of a letdown. It's not terrible, but it's definitely not as good as the original. Of the first one, the one that came out in 2017. But even so, Chapter 2 was still really good. In some parts, I just didn't vibe with. I thought it was dragging in parts, but the first one, it came 2017. I loved it, and I will talk about that movie way too much. I love Pennywise. I thought he was just really good. Bill Skarsgård, fantastic. And the kids in it too were really, really good. It's one of those movies where kid actors really take the cake. They just outperform any adult actor in the film besides Bill Skarsgård. But it's going to be number 2. Now, we're not going to do honorable mentions. We're just going to go right smack into the middle because I want to talk about this one. Number 1 is Evil Dead 2013. To show off. I do have to show off. Evil Dead. But Evil Dead is just, I love rewatching this movie, and I love showing it to people who have never seen Evil Dead or never watched it. I watched the original Evil Dead years after I watched the remake, and I can tell you that if it was 1980 and I've never seen any other horror film ever, I would be blown away by the Evil Dead. But watching it now, very, very cheesy. Very, very cheesy. And obviously, for me, there's just no suspense, no, horror. But still, the Evil Dead classic, the original, is still very good. I think for a film standpoint, I think for what it was doing, for the budget it had, it was very good. But Evil Dead Remake really just takes the just outrageous nature of the evil. And I also loved Evil Dead Rise. I have the steelbook for that as well. And I cannot wait for the new one. I believe it's coming out next year, Evil Dead Burns. And I think what they're doing is each movie is doing a different book, is doing a different evil book, because the Evil Dead Rise book is different from the 2013 Evil Dead, and I believe they're all connected into one book. So I love Evil Dead Remake. I think it's outrageous. I think it knew what it was doing. The acting isn't great, and I think they weren't planning on that. They really didn't, not that they didn't care about the acting, but I think what they were trying to do was to create a new cult classic of Evil Dead. And for me, they did it. I love the Evil Dead Remake. Yeah, so that's going to be about it. That's basically it. Those are my favorite horror remakes. There were definitely more remakes or horror remakes that I just did not like at all. But these, I would say, pretty much condense my favorites of the remakes. So, yeah, that's about it. Let me know what your horror remakes or favorite horror remake is in the comments. Let me know if you have a top 10. Drop it in the comments. If you're new here, subscribe and like the video. And I am also would like to say that I am fully working on my next horror thriller short film. I'm very excited for this one. Obviously, I'm still in the writing stages, but there's a fucking fly around here. What the fuck? Ooh. Yeah, like I was saying before, I was rudely interrupted by a little critter. I'm writing my new horror short film. I'm really liking how it's going. I'm still in the writing phases, so nothing is concrete yet. But the story I have, the idea, I'm very excited about that. So, yeah, that's today's video. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I will see you guys in the next video.